Let's play that game for a second. Let's pretend that on Thursday you could only watch one of the Sweet 16 games available. Then we'll do the same thing for Friday. What's the main game on your radar Thursday as we get this NCAA tournament restarted?
Well, good to see you again, JP. I'm going to pick the game that I'm going to be at, and that would be the pick anyway, even if I wasn't going to be in the building. For everyone listening, your reminder here on the Thursday games, we've got BYU, Bama, and Newark, and that is in the east, and then we'll have Maryland, Florida out west in San Francisco. That'll happen about 30 minutes after. Then there's Arizona, Duke, back east in Newark on CBS, and then the night will wrap with Arkansas versus Texas Tech. So we're picking from this group. For me, it is BYU, Bama, because the potential for these teams to put on an offensive display that is dazzling, I think, is high. Now, when you get two teams that are willing to get up and down the floor, there is the potential that this could get away from one of them, and we wind up having one team, winning 95-81, and maybe it's not all that thrilling after all. But I tell you what, with what Kevin Young's team has been able to do, it's a really good. It shoots plenty. It shoots plenty of threes. It's a really good 3-point shooting team. It's actually even better from inside the arc. We know that BYU has been on, largely speaking, it's been on a heater, Parrish, for more than a month. The only time it got clipped was against Houston, which is a team that I've got winning the national championship, and that game happened in the Big 12 tournament. So, Igor Demin could be a top 20 NBA pick. Richie Saunders has been tremendous. They've got a few guys that can shoot it well from deep, and I think they got a great chance. And then you've got Mark Sears on the other side, Alabama trying to go for another Final Four. They score more points per game than anyone in the sport, and I like it. And then there's also, although this isn't really playing too much into it, by the way, the number one pick probably, likely and almost certainly going to be a top 3 pick in the 2026 draft. His name is AJ DeBanson. We talked about him earlier this season because he committed to BYU back in December, and he committed to BYU over Alabama. So it's just interesting that the two schools that were chasing one of the more coveted prospects of the past 10 years, I mean, he's considered to be, some people think that he's going to be a better pro than Cooper Flagg, but we'll see him in college next year. BYU is even maybe ahead of the pace. That's the game for me that I would choose out of all of them, and I can't wait to be there. I'm eager to get down to Newark on Thursday and see that one tip off and get the Sweet 16 going.
That'll obviously be a fun one, but I would go Duke, Arizona, in part because of the Caleb Love component to this matchup. This dude may be already a legend forever, but if you end Mike Krzyzewski's career and then end Cooper Flagg's freshman season and likely college career, legend forever. You remember he got 28 points for North Carolina in what was Coach K's final game on the sidelines for Duke, ended Paolo Banchero's college career, and could now end Cooper Flagg's college career. Imagine being that's your Wikipedia page. Hey, what'd you do in college? What did I do in college? Ended Mike Krzyzewski's career and the career of 2 subsequent number 1 overall picks in the NBA draft. That could be where we're headed with Caleb Love. Let's look ahead to Friday now. If you could only watch one game on Friday, which game would you pick there?
By the way, Caleb Love hit a huge buzzer beater earlier this season. That's just like an by the way with him, and it's going to be a big one. Here's the order. GP. Ole Miss versus Michigan State. That's in Atlanta on CBS on Friday. Then it will be Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indianapolis. Then it will be Michigan versus Auburn, and then wraps up with Purdue, Houston. There's a lot of options here. My pick is Michigan versus Auburn for a couple of reasons. Michigan having the 2 7-footers, Vlad the Impaler. That's a fish reference. Oh, by the way, I know GP's not picking up on that. Having Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf at 2 7-footers, Janai Broome, National Player of the Year contender, and oh, by the way, like Flagg and Broome, I haven't decided. We're going to, GP and I and everyone at CBSSports.com, we will decide in less than a week. I'm not even kidding you when I tell you that how these players play over the next couple of games may sway my vote. We'll see. So how does Broome play against the Michigan Bigs? Auburn has gotten a push from Creighton. It hasn't looked like the best team in the tournament through 2 games, but it's obviously capable of winning this one. Michigan had a really big push from UC San Diego. And has it been able to break on through? It basically turned off Texas A&M's water, although A&M can't really shoot it. A&M almost went to the faucet itself and said, okay, we're done here. That one is the most intriguing to me. and Auburn fans are going to fill that building plenty. But you and I both know that that building will be on fire because Michigan and Michigan State fans travel and travel well. And then you got Auburn and Ole Miss, and their fan bases are going to be well represented given the region that this is in. That one, I can't shake the feeling that it's going to be close. And Michigan does really, 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 really well in close games. So that's my pick. You agree, or you're going somewhere else on the board?
Well, I'll go to a different game, but I'll stay in the same arena, the same city. You know, Oxford, Mississippi is very drivable to Atlanta as well. So Atlanta is going to be popping for these Sweet 16 games and the Elite Eight matchup. Michigan State, Ole Miss, no matter the result, pretty wild story. If Michigan State wins this, and that is the expected outcome, at least according to the computers, then Tom Izzo is suddenly one more win away at the age of 70 from reaching his 9th Final Four. Only 4 men have ever made 9 Final Fours. It's Coach K, John Wooden, Roy Williams, and Dean Smith.
Dean Smith.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Tom Izzo can join that list with 2 more wins in Atlanta. That would obviously be a great story. But on the other side, it could be an incredible story as well, because if Ole Miss wins on Friday, then Ole Miss is in the Elite Eight. You ready for this? For the first time in school history, and in year 2 under Chris Beard. Chris Beard is the first person to ever lead Little Rock to 30 wins, did unprecedented stuff there. Got the Texas Tech job, did unprecedented stuff there. First coach to ever take Texas Tech to an Elite Eight, to a Final Four, and to a national championship game. And now could be the first person to ever take Ole Miss to an Elite Eight. And obviously, once you get there, then you're trying to hang banners and get to the first Final Four in school history. So I think of all the sites, like, you've got really compelling stuff down in Atlanta, the 2 Michigan schools both being there, and then 2 schools that are very drivable for the fans with Auburn and Ole Miss. Let's continue this conversation, touching on some of the 1 seeds next. All 4 remain alive. They all 4 remain favored to win their regions. And obviously, if that happens, then we got all 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four for just the second time in NCAA tournament history. How likely does Norlander think that is? I'll ask him right after this break